Hello, Internet, and welcome to Session Zero, technically numero uno episode of Elegant Magicks, a good society tale of subtitle to be decided on. Welcome, welcome. Glad to have you folks here with us if you are watching live. If you're catching us on the YouTubes, hello. Thank you for catching us on the YouTubes as well. We are there. We are also on, let's see, Twitter. We have a wonderful Discord where we hang out and do cool things. Just GJK's pretty much everywhere, so you should come check it out. We're here pretty much every day of the week except for Mondays and Wednesdays, I believe, at this point. But even then, we throw in not only tabletop games, but I hear some folks may have a capture card now. So, we're throwing in as many video games as well. So please come check it all out. Tonight is going to be very fun. We are going to not only be creating characters, but creating our world of Elegant Magicks. We're going to figure out how magic works, what does it do in society, and many, many more miraculous things. But first and foremost, let's see who's going to be doing that with me tonight. Why don't we go around and tell everyone who you are and where they can find you on the internet. Let's start with Sean.
Hey everyone, I am Sean, the Kraken King on Twitter. You can see my full schedule pinned to the top of my my Twitter profile. I'm pretty much live anytime we are live. I run games such as Neon Souls on Fridays and Saturday nights, Star Power / Apocalypse on Saturday nights / evenings. So you can find me there. Don't know who I'm playing yet, so can't talk about that. And what I will plug is I'm off work next week because I finally had enough hours and decided, fuck it. So I'm gonna be here, and I'm gonna be doing a Nuzlocke run starting at some point, and ending next week. I'm determined to get through the entire thing next week while I am on vacation. So I'm going to pace myself, figure out what my check marks are going to be. I think I'm probably going to start that on Saturday. So yeah, come join us for that. Tweets to follow. That's me.
Sweet. Savvy.
That's me. Hello, I am Savvy. I'm at Savvy Seaworth on the Twitters, where you can find me posting about random stuff in all of the games that I'm in. I am here pretty much whenever this channel is live, so I won't go through all of those, but I also have two other shows that I'm doing for the next, I think we have 2 weeks left, both on twitch.tv/encounter roleplay. On Monday nights, I play Dungeons and Dragons at 8 p.m. Eastern Time in a show called Song of the Deep. It's really, really fun. I play a cleric that's obsessed with the moon. It might be a god now. I'm not entirely sure, neither is she. And then on Wednesday evenings, for the next 2 weeks, I'm finishing up running a game of iHunt over there. The show's called Hustle and Claw, and it's about millennial monster hunters using an app to find monsters to hunt so they can pay the rent. And the rules. And I don't know who I'm playing, but that's where I'll be. And then when Sean streams video games, I'll probably be there. Oh, and I'm gonna finish Nancy Drew this week.
Yay.
Also.
And I will be there.
Before we go to RJ, because the thing in the chat just reminded me, captions are busted right now, and I can't get them to work. So I'm gonna try to get them to work on the break. But we don't have them right now, and I'm sorry.
We are working on it. We're trying to get them for everything, so bear with us. Thank you for your patience. RJ.
Hey everybody, I'm RJ here on the channel, but you can catch me at Archesses282 on Twitter and Twitch, where I tweet about nerdy things and also stream with my friends. Monster Hunter Sean, sometime when you're on vacation?
Please, anytime next week that I'm not dying in Pokemon.
Hell
I would
yeah.
love to.
I mostly am over at Indoor Adventures channel, where we had just finished our Tomb of Annihilation campaign. We went to Eberron and blew some shit up, nuke style. That was a weird Ender. I'm over there also on Mondays in our Hunger campaign as Calum, a Shatterkai wizard cleric who is a devotee to Saloon. He dusted a Night Hag in one hit. It's great. 8th level spells be no joke, yo. And hey, GGK has officially kidnapped me. Help. I'm here every other Saturday during our Overarms game. And I'm also gonna be here this Saturday for GGK Apocalypse. It's gonna be a wild ride.
He's fine. He didn't use a safe word. Thank you, RJ.
Kumquat.
And last but certainly not least, Alex.
Hello, I'm Alex. OMG, it's some guy on the things and the stuff. You can find me here Tuesdays, Thursdays, and every other Saturdays in the Apocalypse game. And that's mostly it. Sometimes I do super casual, relatively unprofessional video game streaming on my own Twitch channel. Been doing Hades and Assassin's Creed Odyssey, so I guess there's a Greek theme, even though I'm Italian. I don't know, make it make sense. But that's it for me.
You and LB, the Italians, you getting on my Greekness. Speaking of which, my name is Christina Sid. You can find me on the Twitters at Greek Sid. I almost said quitters. You said kumquat. Totally threw me. I am usually there shitposting and talking about hanging out on here mostly. I'm here a couple nights a week. I'm in the Unsold, I'm in Slang 101, I'm in lots of fun stuff. Yeah, speaking of Neon Souls, that's the next one we've got coming up. So yeah, we got that tomorrow. Woot woot. But we're not playing Neon Souls right now. We are playing Good Society with Magic. Yay! All right. Let's just dive on in, shall we? First and foremost, for anyone that's unfamiliar, Good Society is a fantabulous collaborative storytelling game by Storybrewers Publishing. They are fantastic. They have a bunch of great stuff. Check them out. They have published this wonderful new expansion called Expanded Acquaintances, which is what we will be pulling for this season. And honestly, there won't be too much of a difference for any of y'all watching out there. It's mainly for us. In a lot of ways, they've sort of incorporated these factions as sort of players in and of themselves. They are affected by their reputation in society, and that will have an effect on gameplay. So that's kind of what we're going to set up first. My glorious friends, time for paperwork. Go ahead and pull up our new, improved, elegant Magicks accounting sheet. And we will get a peek at this. Let's, of course, first and foremost, start with our collaboration for the game at large. Good Society is fantabulous for basically the game has built-in safety tools kind of in and of itself. That's part of the game is this collaboration. We do on GGK also use the safety tools of the X and O card, so just throwing that out there as well. We want to be safe while we're having fun out here. But let's just go ahead and dive through the collaboration for ourselves and for those of you watching. We have some options for sort of the overall tone of play. They give us three main options. We have drama, which is that things are very difficult, actions have very serious consequences, tensions are very quick to inflame, your connections in the gameplay are viciously pursuing their own ends, and society is extremely harsh and judgmental. We have farce, which is the exact opposite of that. Actions have very few consequences, improbable coincidences and circumstances are manifold, your connections may change their mind very rapidly, and society as a whole is prone to excessive silliness. Or my personal favorite, romantic comedy, somewhere in the middle. But society is quick to judge and also quick to forget. And also, it emphasizes, romance, which I am a total sucker for. So, for season 1, we did have a romantic comedy. I feel like personally, I feel like it's a nice in-between of things that lets us kind of be flexible and switch back and forth. We're familiar with it now as well. If anyone has anything to throw out there for something else, feel free to chime in.
Miss Facilitator, what do you mean my actions have consequences?
Oh, well, that's very kind of you to ask, RJ. You see, when you do something and it perhaps provokes someone else, it's something that may or may not be something that they don't appreciate or like, they may act accordingly to, I don't know, get back at you, ruin your life, put a knife to your throat. I don't know, just throwing that out there. Just a variety of things that may happen.
When you act a fool and your mom stops funding your parties.
That sort of thing.
That's never happened in this game.
No. Our actions haven't had any consequences. Again, personally, I think rom-com is kind of our way to go. But if we are feeling another vibe so far, let me know.
Last season, I would say that we did romantic comedy, sometimes teetering towards drama.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like our overarching theme. I was thinking that that's the way we're kind of leaning towards as a group. I mean, I felt good with the way things were last season, and if that's the same tone we want to take, that's my vote.
Thumbs up, thumbs up?
Thumbs up.
Cool. All right, so we will go with the romantic comedy tone. Next up would be historical accuracy. Kind of out of the gate. We can't go extremely accurate, considering, as far as we are aware, there weren't extensive Magicks in the Regency area of Britain. But other than, that little tidbit, do we wish to have it be a little important? Like, we'll try, but, whatever. Do we want it to be very important? So, like, we're gonna do our research ahead of time and arm ourselves with knowledge and all that. And if we think something might not be accurate, we might stop gameplay to check into it. Or, again, somewhere in the middle, we'll give it a shot, but we're not gonna necessarily stop gameplay to look something up.
I think for ease of play, like, not as important because we're going to be dealing with magic. Yeah.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think we can kind of float in the somewhat accuracy place. That's kind of what we did last time too. There's magic. Worst comes to worst, that's not how it went. It's magic. I think we'll be fine. Somewhat A-okay for everybody?
Yep.
Cool. The gender power balance, I'm gonna just straight up say we're turning that shit off. Yeah.
Yeah.
The official setting is fuck that shit.
Fuck that shit,
Yeah.
it's gone.
As the one who's generally most affected by this, yeah.
Yeah. For those that are unaware, the game is wonderful in that if there, for some reason, you do want to be historically accurate, very, very historically accurate, if you want to keep the patriarchy in there, you do you. It gives you the option of doing sort of a reversal and having it be a matriarchy instead. It also just lets you turn that shit off, and that's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna turn that shit off.
I refuse to play a game that won't let me wear pants and be gay. So
100%. Can that be a new GGK shirt, actually?
Wear pants and be gay?
GGK, we'll never play a game that won't let you wear pants and be gay.
Mm-hmm.
I think that should be the next shirt.
Say next like we already have shirts.
We are
In my
working-
mind, we already have
We're
several shirts.
working on it. It's a longer process They might think. Anyway, turn that shit off.
Yeah, we're turning that shit off. Awesome. Here is a fun one. So, how much hidden information will be used in the game? We have some options. We have none, which is what we had done in the previous season. Desires and private relationships were public player knowledge. Of course, we are all, strong enough role players that, those secrets are still secrets to the characters. However, I feel we kind of discussed that last time. We were doing that just to make everything very clear. It was our first run through of the game while everyone was kind of getting their feet wet. We do have the option to have some private, hidden information. Private relationships. So they're on the relationship card of public knowledge is that your relationship is, you used to be good friends and you had a falling out. Private knowledge, actually you were lovers. That will still be known to the table at large. But characters might not know that information. But we do have the option of keeping our actual desires hidden from the other players at the table. Is this something that we would like to do, or I could see it going either way. It might be fun to have that and have to sort of piece it out as we go. And we'll kind of do character creation a little bit differently that way. Or I could also see that it's honestly really fun to kind of know all of that and have the in joke of when we're talking about things in character and not. I could kind of go either way on that. So I'm kind of throwing that out to the group.
As far as the collaborative storytelling element,
I
feel like last season, if we hadn't all known what each other's desires were, I feel like it might not have been as easy to collaborate on some of the scenes and stuff we did. So I don't know. I would lean more towards keeping it the way we did last time, but I'm okay with there being secrets. And this might just be a roundabout way of me saying I'm bad at keeping secrets.
You are really bad at keeping secrets.
You guys will all know what my thing is like by session 2, probably by the end of this one if we keep secrets. So
I'm planning
Savannah
on.
will know before I even do it.
Yeah. I already know. Because I was planning on playing a character that has secrets, but I'm perfectly fine with doing those the way we did them last season. Because I think there's just there's an element of chaos that brings into it that works for some games. I don't know how well it would work for this particular one.
Absolutely fair. And again, that's not saying that your character might not have secrets that they might not be divulging, you know what I mean? There's definitely knowledge that we could be keeping to, close to the chest. That's more specifically about the desire element.
Yeah, I think the mechanical stuff that's on the actual play sheets and stuff, I think probably should be common knowledge.
That totally makes sense to me. How's everyone else feeling? Yeah? Okay.
It feels to me like going into a D&D game and not telling anybody you're playing a wizard. Seems like it would make things a little overly complicated.
I mean, I've done that for some games, so it could be fun, but that might not be the tone we're going for either. So no, totally get it. Okay, so we will have all mechanical elements be player knowledge, public player knowledge. If you have secrets that you want to keep character and narrative wise, feel free. Awesome. So that is good to go. We do sort of have a lines set up here. Is there anything that our game should avoid? I have added several subjects. Players feel free to look over that, add it as needed. But again, great aspect of this game is that it literally has these safety tools sort of built into, getting a game started, which is wonderful. So, these subjects we know out of the gate, we're just not incorporating these into our game. We don't want to see them. So that's awesome. So feel free to add to any of that. Players you don't have contact warnings right now. We don't need to name any of those out loud. But one of my favorite parts, is there anything we would love to see in this game?
Bigfoot. Bigfoot.
Yes. I mean, it's pretty clear that just has to be in every single session of this. Which may be pretty easy given how we, set up for the second season. That's definitely a character we could incorporate already from the get-go. Of course, Bigfoot.
I vote for magical duels.
Ooh, okay. Yes, I love it. All right, we can do that. Your wish is my command. Wow. I hate to be a broken record, but I am gonna need at least one big wedding again.
Again, but we all hated the weddings last
I
time.
know the weddings we were all just gritting our teeth, waiting for it to be over. But I'm gonna have to insist.
The debacle with the caterers and the florists.
Oh, it was just a mess.
I told myself I'd never do it again.
I take offense to that since I planned and paid for all of your weddings.
Love you.
If you haven't watched the final episode of last season, please do. It was even if you've never watched any of the others before, just watch it. It's on YouTube. It's astonishingly amazing. Yes, Sean.
May I suggest a second one that I just thought of?
Yes.
Because we can. Body swapping episode.
Freaky Friday.
Somebody gets Freaky Friday'd. Doesn't have to be all of us. Doesn't have to be main characters.
Gets Freaky Friday'd.
Somebody has to get Freaky Friday'd at some point.
Oh, Magicks involved. Groundhog Day.
Okay, what other 80s movies can we put into that?
If we need a hard reset.
Tron. Repo Man.
I think two 80s to 90s tropes is sufficient.
I've been binging The Flash. If there's ever like a big catastrophic event, a freaking Flashpoint would be amazing.
I'm all right with that.
So just more time travel.
Time travel? Question mark?
Marty, we need to go back. What?
Definitely things. Any like, we have to do this. Like, this must happen before the end of this season.
I'm sure I'll think of something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did we say tentacles?
No, we
Yeah.
didn't, but I will add it. In fact, I'm just gonna go back and add it right after Bigfoot.
It would feel weird to not have tentacles on the list.
Consenticles.
I think Mecca wants regicide.
Excuse me, what?
Becoming
the Queen of England.
Nope. Hey, will you rap? That'd be great.
Without a beat?
Rap. No, I was talking more to the cell, but it's cool. There we go. Awesome. Wonderful. Yes, if anyone thinks of anything else, like, we got to do this, that's also a lovely part of this game, is that through every cycle of play, we will go back over our collaborations and see if there's anything we need to add or to edit. So, but I think this is a really good start. Now, if you would like to switch over to the magical collaboration, we're going to do something very similar, but instead of for the world as a whole, more about something very specific in the world, and that is magic and how it works. With this expansion, it is sort of a given that magic is kind of an integral part of this world, whether that is a sort of hidden realm of the world that's sort of in conjunction with what we would consider historical regency, whether that is literally living side by side with non-magical people. That is an option too. What are we thinking for that? So let's just go through and at least answer these specifics. One thing about magic that I think we have at least agreed upon is that it is spelled with a K at the end, at least in this particular realm. So I tried to do that as much as possible. What does magic look like? Each magic user definitely would have their own individual flair on things, but overall in this world, what does magic look like? They gave some really great descriptors in the book itself. Is it glowing, vibrant, grand, echoing? Is it more dark, silent, misty? I add mysterious there is what I think for that. Is it swirling, tactile, aromatic, lingering? Overall, what it be? What did it? What it do?
I'm leaning towards something between 2 and 3, like set that second and third block.
Mm-hmm.
I was leaning between 1 and 3.
Yeah, so I was leaning towards the third block, especially with lingering.
Mm-hmm.
That's mostly like part of a character choice on my part, but
Okay. I very much enjoyed lingering as well when I saw this. It's just the idea of like, you may cast it, but if someone literally walks in the room like 2 seconds after you do it, they might be aware something's going on.
Well, I like the description of the third block because it's like magic as like a physical substance almost. Like it has like effect and weight to it, and like things, it affects things, and more of just like flash of light and somebody turns into a frog or something like that. It's a little more like, it's
Like
a little
you-
more gross. Is
You
the
can walk
word
into a ritual room and you can feel like someone had actually casted something in here. It sticks to your skin,
Yeah.
almost like
Yeah.
rads.
I like this a lot.
And then like the tactile element, being able like the physical manipulation of things, like being an element of magic.
I like this. I feel like also like number one, like the glowing, the vibrant, all that. I feel like if that makes more sense for your character or your connections as individual casters, we can definitely add that, overall. But I think if we're all feeling good about that, I think 3.
So we're sort of like establishing this as the baseline, and then there may be variations where things drift one way or another.
Yes.
Okay.
Speaking of which, Sean, you had a fantastically awesome idea in Discord, I think a week ago or so, about. Why don't you go ahead?
Which one? I have fantastic ideas all the time. I lose track.
The
The one about the magic families?
Yes.
So I had brought to the table the idea of having essentially like noble families or aristocratic families that specialize in different areas of magic. So like you may come from a family that specializes in necromancy, and they have studied and acquired great necromantic knowledge over the ages. They pass it down through their descendants, and if they at certain times will like bring in heirs or bring in wards and stuff to help bolster their practice if they see somebody who's like prominent in that. I got this idea kind of combining like if you ever watched any of the Fate series, where the anime or the video games, they do this kind of stuff with their mage families, and it leads to a lot of like conflict between them for magical sources of power and vestiges and things like that. So that was my idea.
I really like that a lot. I think even besides some of the factions that we could add to the world, which we'll get into in a little bit, I just think that almost seems just like a natural element to put on over, you know, high society in general. If we're adding magic to the mix, I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
What's separate? Oh, go ahead.
And I was just going to add that, like, and I think it's like anyone can study any craft, but it's like if you grew up in a alchemist family and you decide you want to focus on like, you know, polymorphing or something like that, then they're going to shun you for that, or they're going to try to push you one way or another. It's more of that Austinian kind of like societal and family pressure with that magical flair.
I dig it. Any feelings about that either way, folks?
My feeling is yes.
I likes it. All right, cool. So I'm gonna add that in as well to our sheet here. So we've got swirly whirly, tactile, and then I'm gonna say magical lineage. Very important in
Can I make
society.
one request if we do it this way, though? Is that it doesn't have to do with bloodlines. Like, it's not a genetic thing, because I don't like that, because it leads into like some eugenics things that I don't.
Oh no, it's
so
more
it's
about
not,
like a lineage of like
knowledge,
the
like
family of traditions. Yeah.
It's more
and maybe they have
aptitude
like
versus bloodline.
Yes.
Yeah, and maybe they have like certain like relics and things that they pass on that bolster magical powers, like crap, I'm trying to think of the words.
I'll even change that. Magical
Yeah.
family traditions. Let's be very clear about that.
But there's like an accumulation of knowledge that is passed down to children who develop the aptitude to be able to use it, and that is supposed to like continue to grow as it goes. But yeah, I just didn't want to get into like your like breeding mages and stuff like that. I don't like that.
Totally. You know what? I will actually go back into the collaboration. I will add that. We don't want that involved.
No eugenics.
No eugenics. No magic eugenics. Cool. Awesome. Why don't you rap? Okay, cool.
I can't do it on command.
Yes, you can. You practically can. Let's be honest. All right. Anything else for sort of like the basics of what like the feel of magic in the world would be? If anything comes to mind too, we can kind of jump back and forth. But anything else to add for the moment? Cool. Okay, this one's fun too. What does magic require? I'm definitely going to say that magic requires something, whether that is something more physical, like a component of some kind that gets like, you know, absorbed through the casting of something. They give, again, some great ideas in the book. Does it require wands, books, scrolls, sigils? Is it more crystals, potions? I really like this. Embroidery, perfume. Is it more songs, gestures, prayers, offerings to higher beings? What are we thinking?
I want to say it's dependent on the individual. They have their own casting foci.
I was gonna say the same thing. Like, if we're doing this thing where you have these families that sort of pass down their traditions,
Yeah, I agree
could
with
be
that.
any of them, right?
Awesome. How about for sort of the purposes, like, I still want, like, magic still needs to have like a cost of some kind. Like, the cost could be very minimal depending on the magic, but like, do we want that cost to be something like tangible, like something physical, like components, or do we want it to be like magical essence? Like, what are we thinking there?
So it's like the difference between, like, does everyone have like mana, some sort of like magical storage that they tap into, that sort of, or is it like there's some sort of component that must be sacrificed, like in like a Full Metal Alchemist Law of Exchange sort of thing?
Yes, exactly.
This may be
That's what I'm leaning
overcomplicating
towards,
it.
but
What's that, Alex?
I was just saying it might be overcomplicating, but maybe it's like it's possible that people are able to do just like inherent mana, but that's for weaker spells, and the big stuff requires, to use like 5e terms, it would have to be a material component that does have value or something.
Like I was thinking a mix of both. Like you can offset the drain on your mana storage by having an equivalent price, as in like material components.
Okay.
that's a full metal.
Yeah.
In which the better you get at it, the less you have to give stuff up.
So just basically going with like, we're establishing an equivalent exchange as the basis the basis of all magic, where I can't create gold unless I have something that equals the gold.
Looking at these examples, thinking of like embroidery could be something like, as long as you are, you're doing the stuff with embroidery and you're spending the time on it and also infusing like your energy, your mana, whatever into it as you're doing it, you can then like use the finished embroidery to just like, boom, there's your spell. And so it can also take in slightly more intangible things of like, I've put in effort, time, energy, not necessarily material value, but
that time and energy, like it did take you like over several days, weeks, like, so that could be like an extremely powerful item to do a very powerful spell. I like
would
that.
Consider time a component for magic that is giving something when you only have a limited amount of it.
Give that embroidery widow a shawl of husband murder.
Jesus.
What do you mean? My husband, he hasn't been here in years.
It does in reverse, though. You could sacrifice something very valuable to get more time. So rich people live forever.
Welcome to me subtly making this game Full Metal Alchemist.
I was gonna say, are we playing that like that Justin Timberlake like flop about time, like where like they literally use time as a currency?
Oh yeah,
forgot about that movie.
Yeah, there was a reason for that. Anyway, okay, I dig this. So at least we'll just kind of boil it down to equivalent exchange, I think.
Okay. Also, equivalent exchange is more like umbrella term for if we need to do something with it,
Totally, yeah. Like, and again, this is the beauty of literally creating this from the ground up together. If you have something in the moment that you're like, yes, I want to do this, just throw it out to us, and I'm sure everyone will just be like, yes, do it. So, no worries. Okay, I like that. I think that's a really good like baseline to start at, and then we can kind of create more individualized things based on the characters and sort of what we're kind of turning into their specialization in magic. I like this. I like it. So this one's kind of twofold. The way that they're defining it, this next question is, what presence do magical beings have here in this world? So the way that they're presenting this question is more like sort of the thing like the Fey Courts, or like our friend Mr. Bigfoot, or those sort of magical beings. I think we should probably also address the idea of just magical casters. Like, is this just a different universe where the Regency was going on. It just had magic. Is it what we consider historical Regency was happening over there, and also these people sort of lived on their own with just their magical folks adjacently to this? Or are we literally in hiding right now from non-magical people? So maybe we should start with that one. I feel like that one will better inform magical creatures too. How are we feeling about that?
I don't think I like the hiding option.
Again,
Yeah.
I'm just throwing it all out there just in case. I don't like that, but
I like the idea of it being incorporated with society, so Regency plus magic. So there may be like a fawn or something, or like that is living next door to a Bigfoot or something down the street.
I like that.
And that magical people are also kind of out in the open.
Okay. So are we leaning more toward like an alternate universe, or just like you step through the sacred mound here and it's basically what was over here, but just magic added?
I would lean more towards alternate universe.
Yeah. Yeah, I like
Okay.
that too.
All right. We're going to have some splaining to do we'll get to that in a second. Okay. So more alternate universe of Regency plus magic. Okay. Regency plus magic.
Now, I am seeing an important point being sort of mentioned in the chat. Is magicians also spelled with a K, or is magician still spelled?
It's just when you're doing the singular magic or the plural magicks, you would add the K. If you are doing magician or magical or anything like that, you just do the C.
Is demon spelled with D-E-M-O-N or D-E-A or A-E-M-O-N?
I think actually historically during this time it was D-A-E.
It's
It's still
pronounced demon.
Damkon, but the K is silent.
You read my mind. Okay, so AU Regency plus magic. And then we do like the idea of magical beings, like they're our neighbors, they're incorporated into society. You know, they might hang out with us really often, like in cities or towns, or they might just do their own thing. But either way, like we're kind of more on the harmonious edge of things.
Mhm.
Okay. They're the best of neighbors.
I
Long
keep trying to
before
think
we're
of
all vampires or werewolves or something.
I keep trying to think of like this show or like this game, but they all have prejudices and racism and stuff. It's like
Yeah, they
it's
all
kind of-
do.
I was like Carnival. Nope, not
Nope.
Carnival Row. Like The Witcher. Nope.
No, not that one. Yeah, I was thinking Carnival Row myself. I was just like, Carnival Row, except nice.
Yeah.
Like any
Not
of them.
shitty.
It's like insert title here, but without the racism.
Mhm.
But without the race.
All right. I dig it. Okay. Cool. This one's kind of fun because this also gives us a tone of what society is like. So let's come up with an old-fashioned attitude about magic, and then also an emerging attitude about magic. They give some really fun ideas in the book, and we can totally just use one, but you know, I have some wits at this digital table, so you know, if we come up with our own, I encourage that. Chat, throw them out. Give me your best. Give me your best right now. I'm calling chat out right now. Give them to me. Some ideas. Magic is a privilege, not a right. A spell in time saves 9. There's no such thing as a free spell. Discretion is the better part of casting. The Magicks help those who help themselves. One person's curse is another person's spell. All that glitters is not magic. You get the idea. What do you think? Let's have some fun with this one.
Well, we
guess-
did make one of those true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I guess one quick clarification: when we say old-fashioned, do we mean it is been around a very long time? In which case, no such thing as a free spell makes sense. Or are we saying it's like this is kind of a fading view of magic, and it's not so much what
Old-fashioned as in like it's a phrase or a saying or a mentality that's been around for a long time. Yeah.
Okay.
Also, I would probably posit to the writers that one person's curse is another person's blessing instead of spell.
Oh, I like that. We can change it. We can do whatever we want.
All that glitters is not magic. Sometimes it's uranium.
Science is its own magic, okay? What? Say it. We're brainstorming. There's no wrong answer.
No. I just chuckled at that. That's all.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna grip it and rip it. 1 second.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I guess for old-fashioned, we could easily go with their example of no such thing as a free spell. Like that is the foundational thing of magic. Like doesn't matter how you cast it, that is the thing you need to know.
I think that probably makes sense.
I like it.
Isn't that the first law in Full Metal? Since we're using equivalent exchange to explain
Yeah.
stuff.
Basically.
Yeah. I mean, it's just the law of equivalent exchange, and they just split it into the law of conservation of mass and the law of natural providence.
I love you even
I'm-
more that you can just like throw that out there. That made me really happy.
I think like another old-fashioned thing that came to my mind is like magic shouldn't make you lazy.
Oh, okay.
Magic's not a shortcut. Which we're probably gonna totally disregard.
Joke's on you, Grandpa.
yeah.
Yeah, it is.
What do you mean I
Yeah.
have to walk like down the street? I can just teleport.
Magic doesn't replace
Which-
hard work.
Which I think all falls under there's no such thing as a free spell too, because that would
Mhm.
use
Yeah.
like it always has a cost. Just because you teleport there instantaneously, you're gonna have to give up something else.
Just
It
'cause
might have
it's small
taken
and
you
you don't
twice
notice
as
it.
long to get there.
You're equally as tired when you get there
Mhm.
teleporting as you are if you walk down the block.
Yeah, something like that. I was thinking about an emerging idea, and I was wondering. I don't know how much about the Regency era and where that kind of coincided with like scientific development. Because Victorian era is when they started developing like electricity,
Mhm.
and they started replacing like gas lamps and things. So we're if we're in the Regency era, we're before like the Industrial Revolution.
I feel like we're more like right on the cusp. Like we're getting into more like machinery and things like that is coming in like the next, like
'Cause
really getting started in the next like 10-15 years. So we're like right there on the
I had two thoughts, which is either like magic for the people, like the use of magic as like a public utility and a public service, whereas
Ooh, okay.
the aristocracy had initially seen it as like something to be gathered and hoarded and kept. So like seeing some of that social divide of like, no,
Are we
magic should be
talking
something-
about a magical communism, comrade?
yeah, essentially. But like the use of mages should be using their things to make society better rather than society giving to people that already have this power. I was either thinking that or going something along the science route is like magic is like is a phenomenon that's just misunderstood.
Magic
Like,
is just science we don't understand yet.
yeah, something like that.
I like that.
Is it an old-fashioned or emerging? I think I lost
Emerging.
that.
Emerging.
Emerging.
So I like both of those, but if we're
Yeah.
picking one, then.
Well, I feel like we kind of wrote 2 for the old-fashioned ones, so let's write
Now
2 for the other ones.
my brain wants to play a character that just says, "That's not magic. I can explain that with science." Here we go, guys.
Watch Slang 101 on Sunday.
Hey.
Hey.
And I might not label it as science. I might go like magic is just a misunderstood phenomenon or something, or
Just
like
phenomena we don't yet understand.
yeah.
Magic.
I mean, science was a thing.
Yeah. I was just saying, like, 'cause science is more like the magic equals science doesn't click in my brain, but I guess I understand where you're going for. I think it's just semantics.
So we still want to show that like science and magic still
'Cause
both kind of more simultaneously exist.
Like there's that mindset would come from people saying it is a physical, and it kind of ties back into our original thing, like magic being tangible, and like it's like gravity or like light. It like there are laws to it. There like that magic should be understood and not like worshipped. Yeah.
It's just, I mean, we could say
But-
magic is just a form of science we don't yet understand.
Yeah. Either way. But I think that would all come from like a mindset of people that exist within the world that want to quantify and understand the processes of magic instead of just using it to summon Cthulhu.
I think that that's a fantastic segue into the next question, which is the sort of magical factions we would like to include, because I think that is definitely potentially an option for this game. If y'all want to grab your faction sheet, it gives several of these options. Basically, the game itself recommends that you at least have the College of Wizardry. We can call it something else, but just sort of that idea of magic being something that is very carefully studied. It is seen as, like an upper crust, high society thing to study this. Like the equivalent of studying to be a barrister or something else, at the time. That it, maybe is a little, in some ways, full of itself, that sort of idea, and that sort of being the baseline in society of sort of where everyone's mindset is about magic in society as a whole. And then they recommend picking maybe one more faction. We ain't gonna do that. We're gonna pick probably more than one more, and that's fine. We have some other options. Oh, was that Alex?
Just, I think the way I was kind of first envisioning the College of Wizardry is, like you were saying, it's there as an option, but just how to balance it with our, magical family setup, and that maybe it's sort of the mostly public option, like, someone has some skill with magic, they're not enough of a prodigy to be adopted into a family, they go to the college, improve their skills, prove themselves, and then kind of get hired on by families, if not fully taken into the family.
Community College of Wizardry.
But yeah, and as this magic should be more public utility thing, there's now a growing sentiment of like, hey, just anyone should be able to go to the college and study there, not just people who already have some skill with magic.
I like that a lot because it's sort of equivalent to a barrister could work their way up into society to be part of high society, but again, sort of the idea of looking down on people that aren't just born into this money and being part of the gentry, like they had to, work their way into it, like sort of a careerist situation. I like that a lot. I think that sort of meshes very well.
We're going to have cases of old magic versus new magic.
Yes, I think so.
Hell yeah. One thing I would like to propose is I like the idea of the local witches association, aka Baba Yaga's book club.
Okay. How exactly would you want to see that incorporated into society?
Perhaps it's more of, because everyone has their own specialty of magic, maybe there are hedge cases that their magic doesn't fall under the norm. And so there is a more influential person who has brought these magicians underneath their wing to be like, hey, you're perfectly fine the way you are. We'll meet like once a week and blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
Let me reread though.
Can we confirm that we're not gendering witch as like?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I say
It's just
the book club.
Yeah. Well, it's like another term, like witch, warlock, anything like that. It's just another term that somebody uses to describe it, but it's not necessarily
Gendered,
prescribed
yeah.
to a certain
Yeah.
Technically,
gender.
just in real life, just a little tidbit, most male witches consider warlock to be offensive, so.
Oh.
Good to know.
Yeah.
There is
I just want to
one
make sure.
story I read where they have basically their four schools of magic. They've got like the arcane, the divine, the natural, and the infernal, and that the kind of magic there determined the kind of caster you were. But if we don't want to use warlock, then we should stay away from that. But I don't know, I feel like just mage is a good catch-all.
And
I
we
like
can,
the
we can
idea.
change
Yeah,
like the
I
names
just-
of these as well too.
I just
like,
mean
I'm-
that specifically, like nobody thinks that like the warlock class in like D&D is offensive. It's just like if a man is a witch, he's a witch in that in that
Yeah.
sense is what I mean.
What I like the idea that like if you're actually talking about like an academic setting or like a professional setting, it's like people refer to themselves as mages. But like colloquially or in terms of these like organizations and words, like they may use like witch, warlock, cleric, something like that, and may use terms like that as descriptors, but they're not like taken seriously. They're just words people use to be clever.
What do you mean you haven't studied and you can cast magic? Are you a sorcerer?
I'll throw this out here too. The reason that they don't recommend you officially having all of these factions in the game is because mechanically the factions also kind of go through a reputation process when we go through the cycle of play. So again, for anyone that may have not seen an actual play of Good Society before, the characters, they go through their actions throughout what we call novel chapters, and then their behavior in said novel chapters is sort of put to the test in our reputation part of the game. And so good behavior can give you a good reputation and can give you some great positive things to add to gameplay. A not so good reputation can maybe have some detrimental effects to gameplay, which either way is just fun and amazing. But the factions also have a similar element in here, and so we will go through that process with them. It's not as extensive as major characters, but it is sort of going through and seeing, did the faction as a whole designate something that may not have been seen as good and would affect their reputation? Did one of the faction's members do something that looked poorly upon the faction and would affect it? So in order to not weigh us down in that part of gameplay, I had a thought, and y'all let me know what you think. I feel like we could have touches of really any of these in society. Like they could be mentioned. We can have connections that might have affiliations, but like sort of outside. And maybe we can even come back to this part of it and make a full-fledged decision once we flesh out character creation. If someone, obviously, if like one of these is like, ooh, this looks good, and you're thinking that you might want to be involved in a faction, actually like have membership in a faction, that sort of thing, we can maybe flesh that out and decide that that's definitely going to be a faction that has mechanical parts in gameplay. And if it doesn't, then maybe we just make reference to it instead. Does that? I feel like it might give us some more options and then also not weigh us down as much.
Mhm.
That works for me.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. They are fun options. I personally really enjoy the auricular matchmakers. It's an oracle. People go to this, oracle and find out who are really good to, marry and join the family and things. So, that's one of my personal favorites, but we can discuss later. Also adding to this, which we had been kind of talking about earlier, the Fey Courts is actually part of another aspect of the expansion, which again has its own set of rules and again might really kind of weigh down what we're going for. I also think that if we really want to add sort of like Fey Courts and things like that, we could add it just as a faction instead of all of the additional stuff. If no one had that as an idea for major character or connection creation, we can just again have it for flavor as something that can be mentioned within society. So just adding that on there too. We can do what we want. It's our game. Cool. So maybe we'll revisit that once we get through character creation, I think, and we can make those solid and decide on those. Is there any other important elements that we should think about or be aware of when it comes to magic in the world? And again, just like our regular collaboration, if something pops up in gameplay and something gets added or whatever, like we'll revisit the magical collaboration when we go through gameplay as well. Nothing at the moment?
Well, I think we've maybe sort of kind of danced around this a little bit, but how common is it for anyone to be able to do magic? Like, are people able to, like, is everyone able to do prestidigitation if they want? Or are there some people who just don't have the aptitude at all, no matter how hard they try?
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. I would say I don't really feel a need to be like, no, this person can't do magic at all. Because that, I think we almost edge into like the whole eugenics thing with that too. So maybe not. But just like, I'm good at English, not at science. I'm good at writing, not at magic. Like it can, you might have more of a proclivity than others might, but it could be something that you could work really hard on and be able to do it.
Well, I think it adds into your, like, magic is for the people, because it puts that extra pressure on. Not only should people who are good at it, like, be working to make it better, like, that's like, maybe we should be educating everybody on how to use it, and then
yeah,
we wouldn't have,
like, maybe it's an issue, maybe the old time, like, the old thought is that, like, oh, only people that were gifted were able to use it, and the new emerging idea is, like, no, anybody can do it. It's a matter of access, not some sort of divine granted
almost
power.
like we're echoing some real life things or something.
Exactly.
Fantasy. Okay.
Escapism.
But in this one, we can make it real.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, I like that. I like that a lot. So yeah, it's more, so I guess we could say magic is, you said it so nicely, Sean, and now it's left my head.
Which part that it's a question of access?
Yeah,
or
like more, magic is more a question of access
than innate talent or something.
Innate ability. I like that. Cool. Anything else that's popping up right now? And again, we can jump back and forth.
We had a question from the chat, but I don't know if that's going to be related to this or something we'll come up with later with the factions, but saying, is it frowned upon to marry someone from a different branch of magic usage.
I mean, that's definitely a thought. I feel like we are sort of leaning that way, with sort of the high society vague ideas of like new magic and old magic, and they're a necromancer, you can't be with an abjurist, like.
Well, especially if the families aren't tied to bloodline, but they're just tied to like your proclivity for that type of magic.
Yeah, I think it's like certain family. It's less like because they're doing that type of magic and more like family alliances and allegiances. Like, we don't like that family. We've never liked that family. You can't marry them. This family's okay. We'll arrange this marriage with this nice person that you can.
Look at William Shakespeare and what happens when two houses in Verona.
Both like and dignity. I like it. Okay, I dig it. So yeah, less about what their actual magic usage might be, and more like about sort of those familial and societal traditions.
Yeah, because I like the idea that all the conflicts in this are like completely mundane. Like people just hate each other because people are
stupid. Because people will always hate other people.
Yeah. But all the squabbles that they have over, despite all this fanciful stuff that they've got, all the magic they got to solve their problems, everything they're arguing over, all the issues they have, it's just the same shit that we're arguing over. So
same shit, different magic. I like it. Awesome. I think we got the basics down. That's really exciting. Okay. Now, like, the hardest part that may take the next 20 minutes or so. What is the name of our community?
Regency Town Name Generator. Let's go.
That's where we went last time.
Yep. And this is very important because this will be incorporated into our subtitle, friends. I did say subtitle coming soon. So this is important. No pressure.
Place names.
Regency place name generator.
Are we all just at fantasy name generator?
That's where I am.
Pretty
sure.
much.
City and town names. Let's see what we got in here.
So there's European towns: east, north, south, southeast, and west.
Okay, everybody take. There's 5 of us. Everybody take one.
Okay, I'll go southeast, I guess.
Okay, I think I'm in a different place right now. Okay, so
I'm in a different place than you guys.
Oh, that's not. I can't pronounce any of these.
Yeah, I did west, and it's giving me like almost all German.
Ew.
I'm gonna drop this one. I'm gonna drop this one in the Twitch chat so that people
Twitch
viewing can see, because I got this one.
What?
That is from.
To grab
you
somehow
know.
more.
You know, those Regency dwarves.
Yeah,
Oh.
I'm gonna go to fantasy name generator. 'Cause this one is
Yeah.
not
So many of them.
good.
Yeah, the one I've got English place names, but it's actual English place names, so I don't think we want that.
Where did we get Toncham from?
well, so there is
don't remember.
town name generator within the city and town thing. So we've got like Newsham, Erith, Worthford, Falcon Haven, Edinburgh.
I'm doing
Mansfield.
fantasy town name generator is pretty good. It's also got English, French, and Spanish versions.
Oh, okay.
So that one's under. Where did I get it?
Yeah, city and town.
Yeah,
fantasy town
place
name.
names, city and town names, fantasy. town generator.
Rageford.
I think this is where we got some of the great estate names last time.
Viking town names.
Heartborn. Nightmare.
Oh my god.
I like
Throw your ideas into chat
I like
now.
Darkminster, which is like evil Westminster, I guess.
Oh man.
I got another rage one. Rage Valley.
Rage Valley.
Bro, I was down in Rage Valley the other day.
Hazel Pond.
Hazel Pond's nice.
Hollyhead.
I think that's a real place.
Oh.
Grime Side.
What?
Rum Chapel. Tenenby. Wallowdale.
Stormshire.
Ooh.
It's fantasy as hell.
Bexley upon Whitebridge.
That's very nice.
Where'd you find that one?
I picked 2 names out of a list and I added a pond between
That's
them.
what we did. That's literally what we did to the last one.
time. Will you put it into the
Say that again?
Twitch chat?
A pond. No, it had an E in it.
Bexley upon Whitebridge.
I like that a lot.
I really enjoy that.
Bexley.
You're welcome.
Bexley is easier to say than Tonsham.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, but also upon Westminster. What was it? God, it's only been 2 weeks.
West Fourth Peg.
West
West
Fourth Peg.
Tonsham upon West Fourth Pack.
Moon Breach.
Now, is there a different proposition we can use other than a pond?
But
that
a
would-
pond, yeah.
Mm.
But isn't it basically, I mean, it was something upon. What was Shakespeare from?
Stratford upon Avon.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like Whitebridge is like the larger territory, and Bexley
Mhm.
would be the town
They
or the
do
province
use-
within that.
They do use like in and under sometimes as well.
Ooh.
There's like
so
like
Bexley
Ashton Underlane.
under Whitebridge. I actually.
Is there
I-
actually like a big giant white bridge?
Well, that's what I'm thinking. Because again, with our AU, like this is just where magical peoples live.
For if
sort
we're
of-
doing if we're doing Bexley under Whitebridge, I almost feel like we need to add a directional adjective to it, like Bexley under South Whitebridge or Bexley under North Whitebridge. I don't know why that
Or-
it feels like a roll off the tongue.
Yeah.
That's
Can
not
I
easier.
posit that Whitebridge is actually a mountain and the town is actually underneath the mountain? So it
but
would be-
magically underneath the mountain. Like we can still have like lovely forest scenes and things like that. But
Well, not,
magically.
not literally under the mountain, but there is like the Whitebridge Mountain.
Like at
like,
the base of
like
the
it is
mountain.
at the base of the mountain, like the valley.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, at the foot of the
At
mountain.
the foot of the mount.
Look-
I take that. Do we want to
Uh,
do what sounds better? Bexley under North Whitebridge? Bexley
I think if
under
it's a
East
mountain-
Whitebridge?
don't
Then
know
I
if
think we
need
could
a
just go with
direction.
Whitebridge if we're doing it as a mountain or a
Bexley under
location.
Whitebridge?
Bexley under
I do like adding that adjective in there to make it roll better.
I put mountain there. Call it a day.
Mount White.
Bexley under Mount Whitebridge.
Whitebridge. I like that.
Hell yeah.
I wanted to call it Mr. Magic Town.
Okay, well, fine.
And in Mr.
Okay.
Magic
We'll
Town-
put it on the short list.
We're gonna put a poll up on Twitter between
Don't.
Bexley under Mount Whitebridge
That's a bad idea.
and Mr. Magic Town.
It's
Do
gonna
you know
be
what
Mr.
people will
Magic
want to
Town.
call it? Townie
Land
And then
McTown
we all have
slide.
to be welcome to Mr. Magic Town.
Magic
Okay.
Magic Face is.
I'm gonna leave this all in your brains, but there is a mage named Michael out there. For a magic Mike.
We've been playing too much Dead by Daylight because I was like, what does Michael Myers have anything to do with this?
It's a shape in the woods that you just.
Can I add Michael Myers to the list?
Oh my god.
Oh boy.
No, we cannot do this. Bexley
Oh, man.
under Mount
High five.
Whitebridge.
If my camera could focus.
Why
Oh,
did they
no,
name a
Cat.
mountain a bridge? This seems exactly like something
Well-
British people would do.
Maybe it used to be the
Because
mountains
there's a
that there was a
part
pass.
of the mountain that is a bridge to another universe where they don't have magic, which is how our friend Mr. Bigfoot and Mr. Tentacles found their way over
And Michael
into the
Myers.
non-magically land and had a conversation with Colonel Breyer. And
So you're saying there is a direct route from this location to Toncham, and we
Toncham.
can encounter our alternate reality selves.
Maybe.
God, I don't like that idea.
I'm going to say that this is at least time is timey-wimey as well, and if
And
you
then
were to
relic
adventure
could fuck
out, it's at least 15 to 20 years after the events of Toncham.
It's
I'm
all
gonna throw that
Jeremy
out there.
Bearimy.
It's all Jeremy Bearimy. It's all timey-wimey.
In my brain, it was like, there is actually a part of the mountain that just got blown out, and it resembles a bridge due to someone casting magic inappropriately. Someone was like, hey,
And let
I'm
that be a
gonna-
lesson to you.
Those lamplighters, am I right?
I love that so much. That's fantastic. Oh, there
But
could be so many legends as to why the mountain is called White Bridge. Just everyone has like a different one.
Mm-hmm.
You want to know where I got these scars? You want to know why we call it White Bridge? It's just 18 different versions.
We climbed to the summit of White Bridge. I had to eat my friend.
I like this. So, okay. So the thought that we had was the full title of the game would be Elegant Magicks, a good society tale of something about magic in Bexley under Mount Whitebridge.
Something about that.
They're going to get progressively longer every season. I'm going to make sure of it.
Yeah, I think so.
Season 3 is a literal Jane Austen novel.
We're gonna need a text scroll at the beginning to get the get the title in there.
Don't test me.
Oh. What should the thing about magic be, though?
Good society tale.
Do we just want to do Much Ado About Magic?
Let's meet the characters first, because I want to know what everybody's desires and stuff are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't know which way this game's leaning yet. Because I have an idea in my head for my character, and I don't know if it's gonna mesh with everyone else's.
Okay with that. We're getting near it, so why don't we take a quick break? We'll do a quick bio break, everybody. That's a lot of work that we just did, making something out of thin air. Woot! So yes, we will take a short break. Please stick around, friends in chat. We love you guys. And we will be back shortly to do part 2, character creation. Stick around. We'll see you soon. And welcome back, Internet. Thank you for sticking around with us during our break. We are refreshed. I have 3 cans on this desk. I don't know how that happened, but I will definitely be hydrated. I have drinks. I hope you do too. And we are going to start our second half of things. Savvy, you were going to say something? It looked like you were going to say something.
Forgotten. Oh, no. Yeah, I was gonna mention. No, I checked on the captions during the break. They're borked right now, so we're not gonna have them for this episode. So sorry. But we're working on them behind the scenes. So thanks for hanging with us. And if you have stuff that you use for live captioning, like you can tweet at me or hit me on Discord or whatever, because we're working with a lot of stuff right now to see what sticks. So.
Please. Any ideas? We love that. We're trying to make it happen. And also, we are going to get started. Our part 2 tonight is going to be character creation. But also, if you have any questions at all about this particular game, specifically about the system of Good Society, anything like that, throw it in the chat right now. We might try to answer a couple of those by the end of the night. I think Weiss had a really specific question, Alex, you were saying about types of magic that are outlawed.
Yeah.
That's a really good point. And actually, I know chat can't see our sort of lines list, things we do not want incorporated into the game. Like love magic and love potions and things really starts to tread a line of like coercion and things. And that is something that is on our absolutely nots list. So yes, things like love potions, love magics, like we're not even going to get into that in the game. It's just that's a no-no. Other things that are maybe considered like they might become illegal or things like that, that is actually a really interesting part of the factions portion of this game, which we will go back to after we finish up character creation. So hold on to that thought, because yes, sometimes there can be particular factions, ideas, and types of magic that might become taboo and illegal, and that can be very interesting for gameplay. So we will get to all of that. For right now, since you can all access it now, sorry about that, let's jump into our accounting sheet. The variation of this accounting sheet is literally another wonderful thing that's handed to you if you purchase one of these lovely Storybrewers games. Again, they set you up right. They're awesome. Cannot stress enough how amazing that crew is. Check out Storybrewers anytime. They've got not only Good Society, but lots of other really beautiful, lovely, heart-wrenching, narrative-driven games. Check them out. All right. Clean slate, friends. We have our characters. You all know the drill. This part's familiar at least. We're gonna name them. We're gonna get their pronouns. We're gonna get their age. And then we'll choose our mechanics portion. We're gonna choose their background. And also you get to choose a character type for them as well, which both can affect your gameplay for your reputation. I don't want to use you as a guinea pig necessarily, but I know we had chatted earlier today. Alex, do you want to jump in, since I feel like you've got at least somewhat of an idea there fleshed out?
Yeah. So, yeah, I'll go ahead. So I have decided upon my character will be Bernard Sinclair. Still deciding on exact age, somewhere in his 20s. He, him. Now, for the desire, we said we're not going to be hiding anything, right? So how much of... So, yeah, I'm based...
You have some secrets and you want to keep
Yes.
that, and that's fine. But you can at least mention your desire publicly. Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll see. No, not going to explain the second part of it, but I chose just one of the cookie cutter desires from the options. Number 10, enter into a marriage with someone who truly loves you without revealing your hidden wealth.
I like it. I have one hopefully guaranteed marriage right out of the gate. Bam. Thank you. Hopefully there are more, but we'll see. Awesome.
And so, I guess, not sure about relationships with other characters yet because we haven't met them. But in terms of the more mechanical things for the, which one is it? Character role? I'm just trying to get the terminology right. Character role.
Character role.
He is a new arrival because he is actually an American.
American? Oh.
Yep, coming
The
over
colonies.
A
to...
colonial.
Which, who knows what that
A
setup
Yankee.
is like in the Magic universe. But yeah, probably still Yankee. We'll figure out what parts make sense. But in addition to that, so the family background is, I'm going with the foreign background because he is so outside of the normal Regency, gentry, all that stuff. But he is, certainly able to get into society. I think we had said, he's coming to England visiting a family member on holiday. So he's able to just hang out, and he's not necessarily here on business of any kind, though he may be looking into that as he spends more time here. But at the very least, he arrived in Bexley to visit with a family member.
I like it. We'll come back to connections too once we get through the full stock here. Again, for anyone that hasn't watched before, part of the character creation process is also creating connections to your character, which you don't play those. You give at least one of them to one of the other players to play for you. And then the rest, well, I will inevitably play, which is totally fine. So we'll get to those shortly. Does anyone else have at least a bare bones? RJ, what you got? Okay, RJ then Savvy.
I will be playing a character named Jarvis Hawk.
Oh.
Him, somewhere in their 20s. I want to edit one of the desires and relationships.
Sure. What do you think?
For receive proposal from or make successful proposals to at least 2 eligible individuals. Instead of that, it's 2 houses.
Oh. Okay. So it would still technically be 2 individuals, or are you wanting to say that you want 2 magical houses to attempt to bring you on?
Correct.
Okay. So less about romance, more, this is like more of a
career
personal career move. Okay. Yeah, I'm down for that.
I chose the background ill repute.
Okay.
And he will also be a careerist. The Hawk family branch of magic is what's the word? It's a bit frowned upon, where instead of using their own magics, they have probably been known to steal from other families.
Oh, so?
There have been incidents where a Hawk family member was brought into one of the upper families, and they might have procured some of the magics from there and then left to go back to the Hawk Manor.
So like stealing people's like personal books of like
personal
grimoires,
books,
and
research, personal effects, like their own foci.
So the Hawks have a bit of a reputation of thievery.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. So is Jarvis trying to basically clear the family name or continue on that same path? Or is that something you'd like to keep close to the chest?
I think I'll keep this one close to the chest.
Okay.
But we'll talk.
Okay. I'm down for that. All right. Yeah, we'll basically sort of snazz up that previous desire, because I'm trying to think if we can keep something, if there's something really similar, but I don't think there's something. I think that's as close as it would get. So yeah, we can just sort of homebrew that one. I'm fine with that. Sweet. Bernard. I do have to stress this. All of the Brits need to call him Bernard. That is the correct pronunciation. He's going to be pronouncing his name as a Yankee. All the Brits need to call him Bernard. Just putting that out there. So we have Bernard. We have Jarvis. Savvy, you said you were ready?
I think so. I'm
Okay.
I'm going between 2 backgrounds right now.
Okay.
But the character I'm going to play is named Jessamine Booker. She is early 20s. And she's going to be, in a complete reversal from what I've done last time, the tutor.
Okay.
And she is
We
going
haven't had one of these yet. That'll be fun.
and I'll drag Sean in here in a minute because we were talking about it earlier, which when we get into relationships, that she's going to work for one of the families.
Okay.
Her desire being restore your family name and resume your place in society.
Okay. So she had maybe she came from a family that sort of was scandalized or
Oh, yes.
fell out of good society.
And I have thoughts about that. But
Okay.
for when we start, I would like to request that none of the other characters know that.
So that is private knowledge. Cool.
And that she's just the tutor.
I
So for her
like it.
background, which I guess would also be ill-reputed, or
Whatever would make the most sense for you, because I mean, you could go like tutor independent, since like you're being brought on as an employee of someone.
humble origins.
Sort of whatever makes the most sense for where you wanted to go with the character, I would say.
I'm going between a couple of them,
Okay.
so I'm gonna think about it.
Yeah. I mean, it could even be like she's technically now humble origins.
That's probably a good place to start, I think.
Okay.
Start with that one.
I like it. And you know what? If we come around and some of her private information becomes known and that changes, we could make a flip during
Cool.
Upkeep. I'm fine with that. Awesome. And character pronouns she, her?
She, her, yes.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Sean, are you ready?
Yes.
I'm putting all my drinks down. I've been advised to do so.
Oh,
All
it's
right.
not a funny name. You're gonna put too much work into it. My character's name is Avalon Cross. Because I had to one up RJ.
Avalon. Okay.
Let's see. Cross. Gender fluid, so I think is going to he, her, they. I mean, they is a good place to just default to.
Okay.
As far as age, I was trying to decide if I wanted them to be. I'm probably going to say around 22 as well. So a little bit younger than Raleigh was.
Okay.
They're a member of the Cross family, so I was thinking about having them be the peerage, as far as their background. So they are lorded. Their family is. So prominent magic users. They practice allomancy, which I'm stealing from the Mistborn series. Just for anyone that hasn't read those, is the use of metals or metallic substances and creating different supernatural sort of effects. I'm sort of probably combining that with like in the series there's two different types of allomancy and ferochemy, and probably just like smashing that together into just allomancy, and as far as like what their family actually does, and their desire is the one that I picked. Let me make sure I've got it up. Is to drive the family that looks down on you to self-destruction and ruin. So they're sort of black sheep of the family. I think they're the eldest child, so they're standing to inherit their family's power and position and all that. But while their family takes a very hardline stance on like what we consider like the older traditional, like magic is to be stored and hoarded and gathered, secretly Avalon is very much a scholar of the magic for the people sort of thing, and is secretly sort of working against their own family's interests. So it has it on the desire card as it's public knowledge that they're a black sheep of the family, and have been much looked down upon. So I think most people that know, I would kind of like request to limit that a little bit, especially with certain characters. Like people that are well connected might know that Avalon's parents aren't like that there's some sort of rift between them, but for the most part they keep on a pretty brave face. Like the family kind of keeps like a a front that everything's fine, because they don't want, like, those disputes and stuff aren't made public. It's all kind of
So,
behind the scenes.
Public eye, a very strong front of the family.
Yeah.
More privately, there might be a little bit of tension going on there. So
Yes. Yeah.
potentially, if Jessamine is working for your family, she might pick up on those. But
Yeah.
otherwise, everyone else would be in the dark about that, at least initially, is kind of what you're
Yeah.
going for.
I think what we talked about with between Savannah and I is that she would be tutoring, I think, Avalon's like a sibling.
Younger siblings. Okay.
And Avalon probably thinks that she's there like to influence, because she's an employee of their parents, so probably looks at them as like a potential like way that their parents could influence the kids, like the younger siblings, like mindsets and stuff. So probably sees them as more of a threat than an ally. So there's probably like some conflict between them. So
Little do they know.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay, sweet. I already love all of these characters. I'm so excited. Awesome.
Everyone knows season 2 is the darker timeline.
Always. Let's start with our positive and negative tags to start. Feel free to throw them out there if you can think of them. I will pull up thesource.com. But yeah, so you come with starting tags. There are some suggestions on the sheets if you want an idea for any of those. But yes, something positive about your reputation from the get-go, something not so positive about your reputation from the get-go. And then we'll build upon those throughout the game. Anyone got any? Throw them out there.
Did I say I'm going to do the socialite?
You
I
did
don't think
not.
I
No.
said.
No,
Okay.
you didn't.
Socialite is the
I like. We got some new ones in here. I'm digging it.
But I think I've got my tags at the ready.
Yeah, what do you got?
So I think I'm gonna pick them from the foreign sheet.
Okay.
And I think they're kind of two sides of the same coin. The positive tag I was thinking is refreshing.
Oh, okay.
And so, new perspective, kind of just like, what is all this high society stuff? Like, I come from a democracy. But then on the negative side of that is uncouth, because there will be people who are just like, what are you doing coming here and
This
messing with the
Yankee.
status quo?
I like it. Awesome. Good. Anyone, throw them out.
I'm just gonna take from the ill repute background. For positive, widespread. The Hawk family is well known in the Magic community and kind of like, we don't fucks with you. Negative tag would be unpredictable. Because he's a careerist, some people might find that he might be trying to reform himself, but then there's still that stigma of that last name or his family name.
I like it. And so as a careerist, is he a scholar? Is that sort of the career that we're path that we're going for? We've sort of tweaked it. I know it's like traditionally, quote unquote, it would be like military would be the career, but we can move that around. So sort of what's, I guess, craft is he going for? Is he, and it could literally just be scholar. Like he's coming to learn more about Magicks.
Like a researcher, RA.
Okay. Oh, like an assistant to a professor of some kind.
Which we'll get into relationships later on.
Okay. That's great. I dig it. Awesome. Anyone else? What you got, Savvy?
I've taken my positive from the humble origins and then done one of my own. So my positive tag is sweet, because I think she at least comes across as a sort of sweet, sort of caring person. She's very good with children. that kind of thing. For my negative tag, I've put secretive, because I think even when pressed, she won't talk about like her family or her past or anything like that.
I like it. Excellent. Sean?
Sorry, I was pulling up. I lost my sheet for a second. All right, there we go. For my positive tag, I'm going to go with influential from the peerage.
Mm-hmm.
And my negative tag, I'm going to go with, I was debating between a couple, but I'm going to go with incompetent. Based on the fact that that's where how they would come off in society as incompetent because of the way they mishandled their families things on, like, there's probably been a couple of times like trade deals or other things that have gone on that they've like purposefully botched that have led to them having like people thinking they're lazy, they're incompetent, they're not like they are not like taking advantage of their station, and they're kind of foolish.
Little do they know. Okay.
Yeah.
I like it. Yeah. There's going to be a lot of little did they know in here, is what I'm gathering, and I'm just enjoying. I'm here for it. Awesome. Yay. Now, connections. Well, you tell me. Would you want to do relationships first? Or do you want to do connections and then relationships?
To clarify, relationships is between the major characters.
Correct, yes. So for anyone who has not played the game or watched before, the connections are basically the sort of NPCs for our major characters, the ones being played by our illustrious players here. And part of the mechanic of the game is we do have at least one relationship between the major characters to sort of, place them within the game itself. So yes, do we want to do relationships or do we want to do connections first?
I'm just trying to figure out how a new arrival has relationships with the people. And not
well,
that
if you were coming in to visit a family member, so the family member could potentially be either one of the major characters, or it could be a more casual relationship. Mm-hmm. Maybe this isn't the first time that he's visited, and maybe he has an old flame here, just saying. Could be any number of things.
Which remind me what we're doing for relationships again, because I know connections, we just come up with the people that we know. Mm-hmm. What are we doing for relationships exactly?
Relationships is you are going to give basically like offer a relationship status of your choosing to another player, to be like, okay, you and I our existing relationship is that of an employee and an employer. Are you cool with taking this relationship? Yes, I am. Great, awesome. And then you would have that relationship. And again, they can also say, no, can we do this? Or no, I was thinking something else. And so again, still having that sort of that negotiation in there too.
Okay.
Maybe we'll start with connections just to get our juices flowing. Let's do that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's do connections first. Should I already go down the line and put people on the spot, or do we want to just, RJ, even better. RJ, what do you got?
I have Professor Camilla Wilmore.
Ooh.
Who is the person that Jarvis is reporting to on findings in her studies into magic. He's helping her out.
So, since we're not quite into our factions, but sort of like the established school of like public school of Magicks, she's a professor there. Yeah?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
She, her, 35. Every time he tries to say the age, she punches him.
I love it. And yeah, what does she think of Jarvis? Sort of that little attribute there.
I think she has the philosophy that everyone deserves a chance.
Okay. So she thinks Jarvis is...
There is potential.
I like it. Anyone else got one? Top of your head?
For connections?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I have Morrigan Cross, Avalon's younger sister.
Morrigan or Morgan?
Morrigan,
Morrigan.
Morrigan.
Morgan. Awesome.
Yeah.
How old is Morgan?
Let's see. Avalon is 22. Young enough to still need a tutor.
So like actually like a child, like young, like
Yeah,
not
I was
out in
thinking,
society yet?
No, I was thinking like 13 or
13, 14?
Yeah.
Cool.
Old enough that whoever ends up playing them doesn't have to play like a baby, like can talk but young enough at least.
I like it.
Floats in the air for uppies.
Yeah. Awesome. And what does Morrigan think of Avalon?
I think Avalon's the world to her. I think is has essentially raised her since she was a child, is taught her everything she knows about magic, and is the best older sibling you could ask for. It's there's the one person that Avalon actually cares about in their family. So
I love it. Awesome. Thoughts?
Is that asking?
Yeah. Anyone else got one? Just throw it. We're spitballing. Go for it. Throw them out there.
Yeah. So I just rolled to determine whether this was an aunt or an uncle, and so the relative I am visiting primarily and staying with is my aunt Ariana Sinclair.
Ariana. Ooh. Okay.
You're probably in, we'll say 60s.
Okay.
Aunt to the major character, and I think she is disgusted's too strong a word, but it's what have they been doing over there teaching you magic? You have not been trained properly. I need to whip you into shape while you're here. But
Okay.
also is still in his corner when it comes to certain other matters, but is no, you're barely better than a fledgling mage. I need to get you up to snuff.
He's an uncut gem.
Basically.
Okay. I like it. If you have a second one too, and you've already come up with it, because you do get two. So we come up with two to start, and then you do get a third that you can just make up during gameplay without having to, do anything special. You can just make them up as you go. You get one more.
I got one.
What you got?
I'm going to say her name is Ophelia Byrne.
Okay.
She is around the same age as Jessamine, so about 21, 22. And I think she also works for the Cross family.
Okay.
And that is Jessamine's best friend that works in the kitchens.
Okay. She's young, so she's probably like a scullery maid or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like 21.
I dig it. And what does Ophelia think of Jessamine? Is it Jessamine or Jessamine?
Jessamine.
Jessamine.
Jessica.
Okay.
I think Jessamine is her closest friend. And confidant. So I think Ophelia knows a lot of things about Jessamine that no one else knows. Oh, I didn't say this earlier. I'm gonna put this on here. Secrets. I'm going to start out with everyone under the impression that Jessamine doesn't really do magic.
Oh, like as a choice? Just like...
Or like she just really like, not that she can't, because like things like everybody can, but like that it's like just a little bit of like, you know.
She's the
like,
gym. She's like the gym teacher of magic.
She just does like a teeny bit, like that she's not very skilled.
Is Savannah and I were talking about this before, but like the Cross family wouldn't bring in a tutor for magic because you learn magic from your parents and your elders.
I
need
see.
A tutor for like math and the non-important subjects.
Yeah.
Got it.
So she kind of keeps that under wraps.
Okay.
For the most part, which is gonna tie into her desire about like restoring her family name and everything, because obviously if she comes from a family, they got magic, but
I like it. Okay.
She doesn't really do it.
Not her thing.
There's assumptions I think made about her that she's not very skilled at it, but I think Ophelia probably knows that's not true.
Okay. That's round one. Round two. What you got, RJ?
I have Zachary Hawk, who is Jarvis's older brother.
Okay.
They
How much older?
Several years to a decade.
Okay. So like in their 30s?
Yeah.
Okay.
They think the major characters shouldn't be wasting their time with scholarly pursuits and should continue the family trade.
Zachary's a magical con artist. I mean, that's basically what we're looking at here is the family of magical con artists, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have a question for you in a second, but maybe we won't say it on stream. Anyway, okay. So, is Zachary in Bexley or back home?
He's back home, but he will occasionally pop in on Jarvis to try and talk him out of it. Like, there are so many families here, we could just go into a house, take their magical sarcophagi, and then skip town.
I like it.
Brother, it's pronounced phylactery. Straight.
I guess to clarify that too, so like, are we talking like a long con situation for the Hawks? Like they come in, they ingratiate themselves and then like steal everything for everyone's worth? Or are they like smash and grab folks? Like they go in, they just take stuff.
It depends on the heist.
Okay.
But a lot of basically the magical robberies are attributed to the Hawk family.
Okay. So the fact that like Jarvis is even coming into town and actually using his real name is sort of like, whoa.
There's a Hawk here and he's visiting the research assistant. Is there a connection?
So like he might be getting blamed for like literally anything going wrong in town because I mean naturally it's the Hawk's fault.
Yeah.
Okay. I dig it. I like it. Anyone ready for their round two?
Almost.
I'm really debating.
I mean, I've got the basics of my next person. So I've got Skylar
Talk it out.
Maddox. They, them, they're Bernard's best friend and confidant. And so this might be something more for that'll mostly be bouncing off of Sid. I'm wondering what their kind of role would be, because like they're one who's here in England, probably pen pals. But so now that they're actually, here in person and able to get up to buddy buddy stuff, but then sort of how I'm trying to make it feel like I'm trying to come up with something so there's more to it than that.
Are you so okay? So have they ever met before
Yeah,
Bernard came in, or
yeah, Bernard's probably been here, because I think there is a portion of the Sinclair family that's over here in England, and also a portion over in America.
Okay.
And so, and I mean, especially if magic makes travel easier in any way, then yeah, I've probably been over some summers in the past, but this is, I think Skylar is aware that this isn't necessarily just a holiday that Bernard's here for. Like, it might be something a little more than that.
Okay. I mean, like that sounds like a good friend.
Mm-hmm. So I think maybe Skylar's trying to help them, or I think Bernard is too much of a worrywart, maybe, and is trying to get Bernard to just relax and be more of a teach them how to be a 20-something in magical Regency society compared to the Wild West out there in America.
Oh, I can just see them like doing like a really horrible like Southern American accent, and then
I'm not even from the South.
Bernard being like, "I'm from Pennsylvania."
I'm from Plymouth. Wait, no.
I dig it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, awesome. We got a best friend. Weiss, I see your question, and we will answer it shortly about long distance communication. Round 2, 7.
I got
Fight.
one. Yes, I'm gonna call her Heidi Booker. This is Jessamyn's older cousin, who, while Jessamyn's family is not currently living in this area for reasons, Heidi is, and their relationship is such that Heidi is essentially her, like, was and is probably her, like, mentor. She's a little bit older, probably like 30, and I think is the one who probably taught her the magic that she does actually know but doesn't tell anyone about.
Okay.
So that's like her mentor and friend.
Awesome.
And probably her only like close family member that's in the area currently.
Does she have, so they do have the same last name? Does anyone make that connection between them?
I think probably. Yeah, I don't think they hide that. I think they probably know that's her cousin.
Okay. And is Heidi among the gentry? Is Heidi...
No, she's not.
Okay.
Well, she would be. Once I restore my family name and resume my place in society.
Naturally.
I will say, I'll say, I guess for your purpose, I'm not really going to keep any of this a secret. That's not the real last name.
Oh.
I've decided about 2 minutes ago.
I like it.
So yeah, I think she passes herself off as, I don't know, a barkeep or something.
I love it.
But just so she can be nearby.
I like it a lot. Done. Also, Heidi is now our barkeep. We will figure out the name of a local pub. Done and done. Sean?
I've been really agonizing over this. I was debating whether I come up with someone random or I do the parent figure, but I'm thinking I have to go with the parent figure because of this direct adversarial relationship.
Or conflict.
I think they're going to come up most. We've already got a bunch of other supporting cast of characters there too.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I want to go Baroness Guinevere Cross.
Ooh, okay. So, okay, if they're legit a baroness, then Avalon would be oh, that's hard. It would just be the honorable. The honorable.
Well, okay, because the book had said lord or lady.
Yeah, well, if we're doing gender fluid too,
yeah,
like a non-gendered way. I mean, we could just do the honorable Avalon. Yeah.
Okay, I'll go with honorable. All right. God,
Y'all are going to be able to hear Bernard leaving the U out.
Yeah. So Baroness can't spell. What age?
How early did they start having kiddos?
It's the oldest at 22, so
I mean,
45.
Yeah, 45.
Okay. Oh fuck! No. The thing just jumped around and I edited something. And they don't like Avalon very much.
They think Avalon is like hard-headed, or
I think they think Avalon is squandering their potential with frivolous pursuits. And they are a waste to the cross name if they don't change their attitude soon.
we now all have 2 boom connections. Yes. Well, I guess it's just time now to divvy them out. All right, take a peek. Who do you want to be? Yes. Do you have a favorite, RJ? Which connection do you want to snag?
I would love to be Skylar Maddox.
All right.
I have one that jumped out at me too.
All right, go ahead and snag it and change your color and all that so we know you're doing it. Yeah, what do you got, Sean?
I want to be Zachary Hawk, definitely the thieving older brother.
Do it.
Yeah.
Of course.
Savvy.
Can I be Sean's mom again?
Yay!
Yes.
I was hoping you'd say that,
Yes.
actually.
Of course you would.
Please let me be the mean old Baroness.
So that leaves either Ophelia or Heidi for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's also Professor Camilla.
Oh, Professor Camilla Wilmer as well.
I thought we were trying to stick with, one connection per person, or maybe that's just something we happened to do last time. Where it's
That's kind of how we happened to do it last time. It doesn't necessarily have to be like that, but if you want to spread the love, I mean, go for it.
Yeah. Plus, I think that just guarantees that certain players will interact. Though obviously we'll make it work. I'm just rambling out loud right now.
You're good. Do you want to play a 14-year-old? Is the big question.
I mean, I did consider that. I think I'll go with Ophelia.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everybody grabbing that best friend action.
Yeah.
I'm only doing it so I can make fun of Bernard.
Bernard.
Not me. I want to be a grumpy old lady.
Yay! So I'll take all the others.
Next time I'm
I
just
get to
gonna make my
be
character a grumpy
14.
old lady.
Perfect.
The
She's
Dowager
45.
I mean,
is an
that's
option.
what the Dowager is there for. Well, of course, the Dowager in space, because I think we've already decided that
Yes.
season 3 will be in space.
space.
So,
She's 45. It's the Regency era. Do you know what medicine was like back then?
Magic.
Leeches and
It was.
mercury.
I was imagining Dishonored 2 Delilah
Delilah Caldwin.
is sort of who I was envisioning for
Oh,
for this character.
I can do exactly what you want. I fucking got this.
I knew you
So
wouldn't pick up on
excited.
a Dishonored reference.
amazing. I love it. All right, so that is spread around. I dig it. And cool. So those are covered. Now let's snag those relationships. I think Sean and Savvy, you kind of had something worked out.
Yeah, and if I remember the way we did this last time, is that just because we have something worked out, we shouldn't have our relationship necessarily like mine to her and her to mine. Like we were kind of like trying to trade it around so everybody had it.
Exactly.
go two
Yeah.
ways,
So
we don't need to double
one
up.
person would be like the giver of a relationship, and the other one would be the acceptor, and then the giver, and the next person like would give. I mean, you could go both ways, but yeah, to kind of spread the love, we can do another relationship to another person.
Some of us also had more than one last time.
Did we?
Yes, that
Yeah.
is how we had more than one last time. Yeah.
I don't remember.
Well, yeah, because Rose had the connection, the relationship with Theo, and then also
And
had
with
the
Grover.
relationship with Grover.
I feel like I need to pull up the sheet from last time to look at.
Please
Does it still
snag
exist?
it. Yes, so it is in. Oh, I think I have to give you all access to what is now the. No, it's still in the other folder. The other
Defunct
in the
sheet.
drive. Yeah, the defunct
Okay.
sheet.
All right. Because that's what I was about, is who should take the who should take what, like whose relationship this should be. So
I would say it would probably be being the employer. I would say, Sean, that would probably be your relationship to offer to Savvy,
okay.
and then she could accept that relationship.
I'm just trying to. I'm pulling up this to.
Mhm.
Okay, so we didn't. Okay, so there doesn't need to be a lot of detail here. It's just like
No,
employer
not at all.
of. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think employer to. What is your character's name?
Jessamine,
Jessamine.
Mm-hmm.
which
Yeah.
is also a Dishonored reference.
Is it?
Amazing.
I didn't play that game as much as you did.
Jessamine was the queen. She's Emily's mom. That's where I pulled that name from.
Cool.
You're my boss. Great.
You my boss.
Are you my direct boss?
Probably. Well, no.
Hey,
I
like
wouldn't be
that.
your, because that's part of the tension. Is that no? My mother would be your.
Oh, I work for your
direct
mom.
boss. Yeah, you work for my mom.
I'm my
but-
own boss. My dreams are coming true.
Be your own boss. Anyone else have a relationship that they would like to offer to someone else? Again, there are some ideas and options in the cards, which I know are a little hard to read in print as opposed to printed. But again, it can be siblings, it can be former lovers, it can be former friends, it can be any number of things.
I'm kind of thinking it could be interesting to have Bernard and Jarvis be former friends, but I also worry that might get confusing just a little bit with you being
Skylar.
one of your characters being not friends and the other character being friends.
I mean, drinking buddies.
Yeah, that could be interesting. If like Bernard and Jarvis are unlikely,
Because
like they don't necessarily interact all that often, but when they do, it's just like, wait, those two get along.
also Bernard wouldn't know about like the Hawk line, so it'd be easier to make friends with him than anyone else in town.
Mm-hmm.
Jarvis was one of the first ones that you bumped into outside of like your family and everything. Y'all hit it off, and you didn't find out about the ill-reputed nature of the Hawk name until later. That's very plausible.
I'm just trying to figure out how to codify that.
Pub pals?
Pup pals.
Yeah. Cool. So yeah, then I guess enter that in. I guess this is me formally extending that invitation to you, RJ.
I will accept.
Oh, won't you be my pub pal?
I almost typed in rub pals. That's a very different relationship.
It's a very different relationship.
It's a little different.
And so it begins.
I mean, we've gone a full, 2.5 hours now without making, really, in my mind, any sort of risque jokes. I'm shocked, actually.
Been focused. We have been. Would at any point had Jessamine been at the college?
Ooh, interesting.
Because I would like to propose former colleagues with.
You're gonna propose to her again, man?
Finally.
No. Sorry, go
I could leave.
ahead. Go ahead, sorry.
Former colleagues.
I actually really like that because when I'm trying to pull up the card. Come on. I want to read. So I like this, and here's a roundabout of me saying why. So the desire that I have, restore your family name and resume your place in society. The flavor text of that is 10 years ago, a huge scandal erupted that sent, it doesn't have to be 10 years ago, I guess, that sent ripples of shame and outrage through local society. Your family were the ones to blame. They left the area, leaving their ancestral home empty. So I would imagine that maybe she could have been there for a little bit and then probably had to leave under quick and mysterious circumstances.
Oh, okay.
And never came back.
So, okay, so I guess the question is this. Were they former colleagues and now Jarvis is no longer aware that Jessamine is who she used to be with a different name, it sounds like? Or is Jarvis aware but is just not
Keeping his mouth shut.
keeping his mouth shut?
Everyone has their secrets, love.
Let's do that. That's more interesting, I think, if he knows.
Cool.
They ran into each other at one point, and
At the
I don't know.
market.
or like at a
Spider-Man pointing at each other.
party of some point, and Avalon's like, "Oh, that's my younger sister's tutor. I don't even know why she's here." And Jarvis is like,
Huh.
"What?"
Wait, what? Well, Jessamine just makes shut your mouth faces, just with her eyes, though.
Because as far as anyone knows, her family isn't here anymore.
Can I have a question or like a relationship, a second one to propose. So I want to understand something about Jarvis though. Their family, this scandal that caused them to, or like the situation with their family, they have always been ill reputed. They became so recently.
They've always
Like-
been ill-reputed at the center point of some sort of magical mischief. There has been a hawk.
Okay. How do you feel about Avalon and Jarvis being sort of like childhood friends that were told they could never hang out? Like from Avalon's perspective, was told could never hang out with Jarvis because they're a hawk and that's terrible. And now as they have gone to adulthood, are friends in that, like, I'm trying to think of a way, like trying to upset the status quo sort of thing. Like, what's the word I'm looking for?
They form their own anarchist committee.
Yeah, they're kind of like secret anarchists, essentially, together.
I dig
So
that.
childhood friends is kind of the relationship that I'm proposing, because they both come from magical families. So they'd be like, are the hawks in like society where they're even though they're ill reputed, they are still like landed.
They've landed. They got money.
They've got
Yeah.
money, and they also have magical secrets from almost every family. Well, not almost every family, but like, you know.
Yeah. So as they start out friends, and they were just like childhood friends growing up, and then as they have gotten to this point where Avalon's like, I hate my family and I want them to suffer, realizing that your family might be the best means of doing so.
Yeah, let's do it.
Cool.
Okay. So I guess at this point, since we've had Savvy gave one, Alex gave one, Sean gave one. So I guess RJ, that would be you giving that to Sean. That would be your relationship give.
Okay. Yeah, it's either one of our gives or the other, because I think both of us have given a one already at this point. So it'd be a second
Right.
for.
Everybody's got something.
This was technically my second, but the first one is also like employer to Jessamine is kind of the relationship with my mother as well. So I figured this would be a more direct connection between someone in the group.
Okay.
to explore.
I do have a thing that I want you guys' help with when we get
Yeah.
to it for my desire. Because I am supposed to create and spread 2 negative rumors about my family and the scandal they're blamed for.
Oh, okay.
And one could be that the Hawks, made patsies of them, or like it is through your family that they were able to pull off, a particularly upsetting heist.
The Hawks will always be the Hawks, but your family got involved?
What is your actual family's name? You said the
You
Booker.
don't know? I'm just kidding.
Okay, well, so would the
No,
rumor be about?
you will know, because we have to do rumors about it. I'm just kidding. I'm trying to pull up my notes.
Yeah,
This is what's actually happening. Blackwood is their actual family name.
Blackwood.
Yes, I made a character named Jessamine Blackwood, and yes, it does sound like she's a character from Dishonored. Don't at me.
As soon as you just said Blackwood, my Spotify playlist went to Symphony Number 5 in C minor, so it went da 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 da.
Perfect timing.
So yes, so do you have to come up with 2 rumors about them and why they were run out of town and their ancestral home now stands empty?
I
That's why I'm
want to throw
to
in
fix it.
something very mysterious here. I want to say that they tapped into some sort of ancient magic that, I don't know, it could either have almost like destroyed like life, like they nearly like nuked everything, or what folks might not realize, but what your family realizes, is that they ended up fucking with like time, the space-time continuum, and they accidentally made it that they jumped into a different timeline where this scandal happened. That was the offset of trying to pull off a very large spell, is that they've always had this ill repute going on, this huge scandal, something fun like that.
Now it's 2 rumors. So you're creating and spreading 2 rumors, but they're just rumors. They don't have to be.
They don't have to be true.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
No, but just 2 rumors about your family and the scandal they caused.
I like that. Kind of playing off what Sid was saying. They dabbled in human sacrifice and summoned some
Horrific thing.
ancient
I just almost
Ancient.
said
abomination.
I want Jessamine to be able to do transmutation magic. I told you guys I was basing this off Full Metal. I'm gonna keep doing it. So my instinct was to go to human transmutation.
Yeah.
Is there a reason she always wears like a dress up to here?
Because it's holding her head on her neck. Oh, wait.
You don't
That
know.
blue
Wrong
ribbon
story.
full, ma'am.
Well,
I
I like
like
that,
that.
and I'm gonna do that.
I like it. I like it. Okay, if that one's like really big, then there needs to be like something
Mhm.
really minor and stupid.
They didn't pay their magic taxes.
Magic tax
How-
evasion.
Your uncle
Those are-
sneezed on the monarch in court.
They
once,
couldn't get
and
him
it
for
was a
human
huge
transmutation.
scandal.
So I got him for tax evasion.
Magical tax evasion.
Magical tax evasion.
Trying to decide like how related I want the 2 of them to be.
Or it could just be something equally ridiculous but completely unrelated, and there's just like 2
That's true.
ridiculous rumors going around.
Head of the family was actually a Bigfoot.
That's the more believable story.
That's, eh,
They're secretly a family of Bigfoots.
secretly.
But everyone's like, why is that a secret? Like,
Why is
we're
that
cool with
secret?
Bigfoots.
But we like Bigfoots.
We,
Why are you
we like
this?
Bigfoots.
What if they paid to assassinate a member of of another family?
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Of the Cross family.
Oh, I like that even
Oh
more.
no.
They paid an attempted assassination of Baroness Cross.
That's what I'm gonna do. Just gonna put those on the rumor sheet.
I like it.
Trying to think of this relationship with.
Okay, thanks.
So I will say, technically, we're only supposed to do 1 relationship. Like, we can do 2 if y'all like are hungry for that. I'm down, but our starting relationships is just 1.
One. Okay.
I would probably, if that is the case, I'd probably take away employer to Jessamine as my starting relationship then, because I think I'm not her employer, and that's the whole point. So
We can just have that set up in the fiction too. Like,
yeah, I mean it's in the
that-
fiction, but that is not that
the
I don't
relationship
think
you
that-
want to have. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I posit to take childhood friends away from you and give you indebted to Jarvis Hawk? There was an accident in your manor, and he took the fall for it.
Okay.
How serious of an accident? Because if it was a super serious accident, like, he probably wouldn't be allowed to like stick around in town. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you're saying like there was an accident and Jarvis took the fall for it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess here's the question, because like the way that I'm seeing Avalon as like the socialite is using like political machinations and using people in like kind of fuck the nobility, like trying to use them to play them to create this scandal and rumor around his own family or their own family to eventually lead to their downfall. So I was thinking that this friendship with Jarvis is a good like underpinning of that, where it's something a little bit different. And it kind of like, do you see Jarvis being somebody who will be friendly or something, where having this this friendship is kind of duplicative, or somebody who is naturally a little more like more prickly and kind of conniving, where it's more interesting to have this one like kind of pure friendship there. I don't know if that made any sense.
Yeah, I feel he's more prickly considering the relationships he's had with other people in town, but this is like the one true friendship he actually does find genuine.
Yeah. And that's kind of what I was thinking too, is like two people that shouldn't be friends and probably can't be friends publicly actually have this like long-standing friendship that they now can use to overthrow the government.
Okay. I guess I'll just say associate of the Honorable Avalon Cross.
Well, so I'll make that my relationship, and that way you can keep, because you have yours with Jessamine, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That way you don't have to lose that one.
Oh, okay.
So.
Okay, so to recap, giving and receiving of relationships, Savvy gave a relationship to. I'm trying to remember now.
Anyone, because I thought it was RJ gave former colleagues to her.
Lost track.
Yeah.
Like,
Sure, I thought Savannah gave one to somebody.
Gave one to you. No.
Because you have former colleagues on there, so that's what confused me.
Well, yeah, I just write all of mine down so I don't forget them.
Okay.
So Savvy still has to give one then.
Oh man.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay, so RJ has given.
I have given one. I have not received one from anyone.
Got it.
I gave you Pub Pals.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
So are we writing the one just to, we're on our sheets where it says relationship, we should write the one that we came up with that we are giving to somebody else.
Yes, or at least put that one first.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Work in progress.
It's been a while since we've done this, friends, okay?
Yeah, because that way everybody has come up with one, because Jarvis came up with the colleagues with, or RJ came up with the colleagues with Jessamine.
Right.
Mhm.
Bernard came up with Pub Pals with Jarvis.
Yes.
And then there was the confusion about me creating the
Childhood friends.
two.
Yes.
So Savannah hasn't come up with one yet.
Yes.
I got one.
What you got?
I want to twist rival, even though we're not in the same social standing, and I want to give this one to Avalon, because I think they both have positive relationships with his sister, and I think Jessamine is not a huge fan of how Avalon does things.
Perfect.
And I think they have this sort of competing, like, this is what we should be teaching her. You're a bad influence. No, you're a stick in the mud.
I like that.
I think that's like the basis of that rivalry. So it's not like a political or like social rivalry necessarily.
Not trying to one up each other.
More of like
necessarily.
we both think we probably have Morgan's best interests. at
You are
heart.
competing for the love of a 14-year-old child.
Okay, let's not put it that way.
No, not that kind of the familial love of a 14-year-old.
It's two competing mentors, I think.
Yeah.
That are constantly like, why are you? What are you doing?
I like that so much better than me doing like employer of. I think has more interest to it. So
I likes it. All right, so we won't go through it all again, but has everyone given a relationship? Has everyone received a relationship?
No.
Yeah, I have not.
But also, I didn't know. I was thinking about doing one with Bernard, but I don't even know how I would do that.
So I imagine. So I'm guessing kind of the Crosses are the big family in the area. I think the Sinclairs are probably pretty reputable. as well. So there could be something along those lines, kind of like how last season we had, the spices were way up there, and then the Addisons were also pretty high up there.
Yeah. So I could twist it instead of saying I could take my relationship and give it to Bernard instead of giving it to Jarvis, and then everyone will have received one. If we're saying that Bernard has been around long enough, like maybe was there as a child at some point, became friends, and then came back later on. I mean, you are an American, so you know how to overthrow governments. So that would make sense.
I'm imagining that's how they like hung out for the first time, like super drunk at the pub.
Well, what if, like, I mean, because I really like to say, I mean, Alex, you and I can talk about it more like in private and stuff, but I imagine magic works differently in the States than it does in the UK, because there isn't that, like,
so
the aristocracy isn't there as much anymore. So like those ideas of magic for the people maybe originated over there, and they're kind of philosophers and stuff in their own regard. Like they're bouncing around these ideas, and this is where Avalon gets really into that concept, is talking with Bernard.
Yeah, and I think kind of touching on that, I think Sean's the only one who's really defined his character as magic, but I think maybe part of what makes Bernard uncouth in the eyes of the gentry is that coming from America, he's more of a jack of all trades magic. So it's like, that's unheard of over here. It's like you have a magic and you do that. And Bernard's like, nah,
I know a little of this, a little of that. I can do this. Oh, you do Allomancy? That's cool. I got this one. Yeah. I like that.
I did.
That was fair.
Sorry. Jessamine, that's why she hides her magic, because her family are transmuters.
Right, yes. And yeah, Bernard is definitely going to have some thoughts and feelings about overthrowing political systems and families.
Yeah, I like that. And I think there could still, and that opens up with Jarvis and that relationship there. We could do something like less codified RJ, but something more like what you were initially saying, which is some sort of like, some sort of tension there between their families, where the Hawks got blamed for something that the Crosses did.
I like it. Okay. I think that's a solid starting point. All right. So we can do more, and I feel like we really should do more fleshing out probably in our first session when we like get introduced to a lot of this stuff. But now having a solid start to characters and the character creation process, if we want to go back to possible factions, what do we think needs to be included? Like, as like mechanically speaking, it's really best that we have at least 2 factions mechanically speaking. I would say maybe we can go up to 3 mechanically. If we have to go up to 4, we'll figure it out. And again, naming these things, names are not set in stone. We can figure out something that works for us. Again, I would say we probably have to have that sort of commonality of sort of the quote unquote college of wizardry.
I mean, I think the ones I'm leaning towards have already been mentioned, both the local witches council and the oracular matchmakers, and I think they can serve kind of similar functions in a sense. Of the oracular matchmakers are more like, okay, these families are actually seeking for like a formal alliance, but they've got different kinds of magic. This is how we can reconcile it, make it work together, or they're the ones who help forge alliances between different houses. And the local witches council kind of helps those who don't necessarily have the protection or the services of a bigger house.
Okay. Thoughts?
What was the first one that was mentioned? My headphones started yelling at me to charge them, so I couldn't.
Oh no.
answer the first part.
So there's the idea of the auricular matchmakers. So not only like just the families themselves trying to arrange that like proper alliances are made, but you literally have like a faction of magical peoples that like they study divination and like actually, people can go and consult an oracle as to whether certain matches would be satisfactory, whether that's truly magic or maybe people are saying it is and influencing certain whatever for their own gains is another thing entirely, but sort of having that as a set faction is definitely a possibility.
Okay, and then the local witches association is the other one for some sort of support for the smaller families and individual mage craft users.
We could definitely like play it that way. If you take a peek at sort of the descriptions of the factions, it's the way that they flavor it is more along the lines of like, think of any like village association or something like that. It's about your smaller, like it would be like the local witches association of Bexley, and all the witches are really super focused on making sure that Bexley is like the best town
Okay.
in England.
So it's more like the HOA association.
Kind of, yeah,
Okay.
is the way that they flavor it. So if we're thinking something else, I would almost say, I
mean, we could do that too. Though I did just get the mental image of Hot Fuzz, but magic.
Yes, that's exactly
Greater
where my
good.
brain. This is the best village. Everyone's happy, contented.
I mean, I like, so the one of the things we're not going to have in this game as much as we did the last one, with Raleigh throwing raucous parties and stuff, is like events that will bring our group together and kind of facilitate these ideas. So I like the local witches association as being this group that is going to like be facilitating more gatherings that will cause all of us to mingle, and spread these ideas and this conflict and stuff. So
I mean, in that regard, if that's kind of like narratively what we want to use it as, it doesn't necessarily have to be, mechanically speaking. We can incorporate other things. Like that
That's
could just
true.
be like, that's what we say. It's just like, oh, the local witches association is putting on a ball. Like, I mean, we can kind of use it that way, unless someone really wants to utilize it mechanically and like use it as a faction, a playable faction. To go into factions too, I guess we really haven't chatted about that too much right now. So the factions are, again, almost kind of in and of themselves like a major character, because they are affected by reputations of high society. So the way that we would start would be sort of that starting base faction sort of being set as like the College of Wizardry. That faction would start in its influence being authoritative. And that society is, generally speaking, you would start with it being official, like it's endorsed by the crown, like it can actually like be rule of law in what it does. If we want it to be one of the others, we can. It's our game. Whatevs. But that's sort of the way that they suggest that you start off the game, is that one of like the main factions sort of has that rule of law, and like that's they can sort of dictate things as they see fit.
Okay.
And then one of the other factions would begin more as neutral. People don't have any problems with it, but they also don't have to, live by the letter to it either. As these factions sort of fluctuate in their reputations, that could change. People can have less respect for the College of Wizardry. They can float into neutral territory or potentially even disgraced territory. We could also have a lot of fun with having a third, more secretive faction that starts out as disgraced, and it is technically illegal. And so the reason that it's secretive is because you ain't supposed to be a part of it. Again, the fun part of the factions too is that they can make decrees. If a faction is in the neutral territory, they can make a decree, but it's really it's not necessarily by law enforceable. If a faction is authoritative, if they make a decree, all of society must abide by that decree. And if a faction is disgraced, then only the members of that faction are required to go by that decree. So you weren't also, your character is not required at all to be a part of any specific faction. You can be outside of the factions if you prefer. But if you do take up membership, you may only officially take up membership in one faction. But you must abide by the decrees of that faction if you do so. And again, once we get into play, we can get into a lot more of that. What are we feeling? We definitely have College of Wizardry. That'll be our rule of law faction, like what they say goes for now. Strong feelings either way about any of the others.
I do like the idea of the, oh gosh, what are they called? The oracles?
Circular matchmakers?
Yeah, I'll throw my hat in with that.
Okay.
That does
So
sound
this
really
would be for the
fun.
group that's like neutral, like.
Yes. Like they're not necessarily like not respected, but they're not, like what they say is not rule of law.
I like that too. I mean, we all enjoyed the romance drama last time around, so I think that'll push more of that forward. Because then Sid can just come in any session and be like, "Hey, you're supposed to be with this person now. Role play that out."
Don't give it away, Sean. Spoilers. Yes, that's exactly my plan. I mean, I'm down for that.
And I do kind of like they even suggest the Hidden Order as a faction, though that's, you know, secretive, ancient, numerous, ritualistic, dramatic. Not necessarily like, oh, this is the illegal one, but could be kind of good. And especially if we have some anarchists in this group, of having an illegal underground faction that they maybe dabble with.
That is a distinct possibility.
Yeah, I would lean, if that's why you wanted to go with something like the Hidden Order, then I would lean for that being the secret, like disgraced one.
Okay.
I'm just thinking of names, and I went to Bioshock Infinite Vox Populi, but maybe Magica Populi, magic for the people.
Oh.
Arcana Populi.
Canum Populi?
Arcanum
I don't know
Populi?
enough actual
Canum?
Latin.
No.
Figure this out.
We can make
Vox
it
Populi
up.
is the voice.
Viva la Populi!
Viva la Populi!
Do you hear the people say?
I like the sound personally of Arcanum Populi.
I do too.
Perfect. I like that a lot.
Okay.
So here's my question. If we have one, we can only be members of one group.
Officially.
Officially. Okay. So like if if Avalon was like officially a member of the college or something as like the
But if he
seat
wanted
that
to help out with like what's going on with the Arcanum, cool. He would still be at least in
but
polite society, sort
if
of.
they wanted to become an official member of the Hidden Order,
Mhm.
then they could no longer be a member of the. Okay,
Exactly.
gotcha. Makes sense.
Mm-hmm. I like this. Okay, so these will be our 3, mechanically speaking, orders in the game. If we, narratively speaking, want to touch on any of the others, we can feel free to. We can flesh it out as needed. But these will be the 3 that we will take part in working with their reputation within society for reputation purposes and upkeep and all that good stuff. Yeah? By golly, I think we have a game, friends! I'm so excited. Yay! Wonderful. Yeah, I think we had a handful of questions. Is it okay if we go a few minutes over, friends? If we just had a handful of questions in chat? I'm gonna go back through. I know that we had a question about
Communication.
communication.
And higher power ruling over the magical houses.
Yes, so I think we kind of answered that one. We do have that sort of head faction. Whoever is in the authoritative stance would sort of rule over everybody. What they decree is rule of law, and again, usually magically rule of law. But the fun part would be if something big were to happen and then we don't have any of the factions in authoritative standing, everyone's either neutral or disgraced. Well, it's fucking anarchy. Fun times. So that is a possibility. But society tries to... Society does try to run with at least one in at least good enough standing to have some sort of authority over the rest of them. Long-standing communication, I would assume we can get into more specifics with that, but just like with travel, I'm sure we'll have some fun coming up with how, because I mean, again, part of the cycle of play is letters. Those letters might come really fast now, might instantaneously transfer across, might read directly into someone's head like a message spell, who knows? But yeah, long distance communication is far easier now, I would imagine, with magic.
Just all the paired like sending books you have, so you have to have like 100 books for your different contacts.
Oh, that would suck. Maybe it's a page. Maybe you have a dedicated page.
I mean, if we're tapping back into Sanderson, he's got one in Stormlight books where it's basically linked pens, and so you can write with one and it writes with the other.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that.
The storage cabinets in Bruce Almighty.
Amazing. I like
As
that
long as we
pen
could
set.
never end up in a situation where somebody has to spend half the session walking through the woods on foot.
I
It's even
cannot
dangerous.
guarantee that. I'm sorry.
It's more dangerous now with magic.
I
Damn, Alexa, play That's What You Get.
When you let your heart win. I'm gonna stop now because I get in trouble. Let's see. Any other big old ones? I mean, just the lovely sentiment that Weiss actually did cry during last season's finale and had only seen that one session. So that's we all cried too, Weiss.
And what's the
Appreciate it.
question? And we kind of talked about this before with how common magical creatures are, but since they're a big feat, are there other mystical creatures? And...
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, just we're running the gambit here personally.
Vampires?
And yeah, we got vampires. Totally.
Wait, Gambit is in here?
Gambit is here.
Specifically Gambit.
All
Why do
the
you think
other
I'm from
X-Men as
America?
well.
Oh, please, just make Bernard Gambit. He's got card magic.
Bernard.
Maybe he does.
I can't deal with card magic right now because I started rewatching Hunter x Hunter.
yeah, just be Hisoka.
Wait.
I'm all
Bernard's
about
from-
it. I want centaurs. I want talking unicorns. I want lizard people. I want it all. I want all of it. I'm all about it.
Chupacabra.
Are any of the major characters non-human? Or is that too big a decision to come up with on the spot?
Maybe.
I am totally open
Maybe.
to it. I'm totally open to it.
I've got something juicy for you, Sid. We'll talk.
Okay. So maybe is the answer to that question. Yes, and we've already agreed per the magical collaboration that they're wonderful neighbors. They are, integrated into our society. So, when you go to those local witch association balls, you're gonna potentially be, dancing with a centaur or with a talking unicorn. That's gonna be a lot of fun. Any other questions, friends?
You dance with an insectoid. It's a jitterbug.
You ever dance with a
Well-
centaur in the pale moonlight?
And with that,
Dancing with Volpine's the foxtrot.
I hate all of you, but I love all of you. I am fucking so excited. I cannot wait. This is going to be amazing. I do hate that all of you are going to make me actually plan for this game. That part's going to be hard, but we'll figure it out as we go. Thank you all so much. If you are here live, we see you. We love you. Thank you for being in chat. We appreciate you so goddamn much. If you have if you caught us on YouTube, I'm done for the day, folks. I'm sorry. If you caught us on YouTube, come check us out on the Twitches. We're there. The game nights, 2 G's and a K. You can hang out live next time. It's cool. Again, we're also on the social medias. We also have a lovely Discord where you can come in and hang out and talk shop and post wonderful pictures of babies and puppies too. We have places for that as well. Does anyone have anything that you are doing that you would like to plug before we say bye-bye? Yes.
I will. There's 2 days of the week when I am not here. So my schedule is essentially the GGK schedule, except on Mondays and Wednesdays. I'm on twitch.tv/encounter roleplay. The season is coming to a close. We have 2 weeks left, and it's gonna get awesome. So come hang out. Yeah, it's 8 p.m. Eastern time on Monday nights. I play Dungeons and Dragons in Song of the Deep, where you can watch a GM run a D&D game for a group of players who are also mostly GMs, and it gets buck wild. Because GMing for GMs is hard. Yeah, we're all just emotionally traumatizing ourselves over there and having a real good time. It's great. I guess I haven't mentioned this. We also have a talk show after that show, which is just completely like buck wild to me. But so after that, I've been on there. This last week was the first week I wasn't on there. I was on there 3 weeks in a row. On twitch.tv/critical misses, we do Talk of the Deep. And we talk about stuff and we take chat questions, and it's really fun. And then on Wednesdays for the next 2 weeks, 6 p.m. Eastern time, I'm running a game of iHunt called Hustle and Claw. The game it's based on the Fate system, but it's about millennial monster hunters using the Uber of monster hunting to be able to pay their rent, and they might get killed in the process. And 2 of them got kidnapped by vampires last time. It's gonna be awesome. That's what I'm doing this week.
Woot.
Question.
Yes,
Why
okay.
Why didn't you name the talk show Sonar so it could be on everyone's radar?
Because I didn't get to name it.
Oh, I love it. Anything else for anyone? I will plug the next thing on this channel, which is tomorrow at 8 o'clock Eastern. We got Neon Souls. We're doing some sprawl action. Cyberpunk, goodness. we are infiltrating IDs. It should be fun. My character will wear her brightest lipstick and brightest wig. It'll be great. Come check that out. It's a lot of fun. Sean runs that one. A couple of us are in that. But yeah, otherwise, thank you so much for hanging out. You watched us make things. It was great. Next time we are here is in 2 weeks, and we'll have our very first session with characters. It's going to be bananas. But until then, a good game and good night, Internet.